Hey, I wanted to take some time to talk to you today about how medical treatment is approved through the workers' comp system. It is very arbitrary. The system that we have in place is not one that makes a whole lot of sense because it doesn't work like traditional health insurance. So with our traditional health insurance, like Blue Cross or Kaiser or any of those kinds of things, you just kind of get the treatment and everything happens really quickly with the approvals on the back end. Workers' comp doesn't work that way, unfortunately. And so it's kind of sometimes can be a very tedious process to get the treatment approved that your doctor is saying that you need. So the first thing that happens is your PTP. So remember, your PTP is your primary treating physician. So that PTP will submit your routine medical reports and also say in that report that you need additional medical treatment. So for example, let's say the doctor says that you need additional physical therapy. And so they submit, along with their report, they submit an additional page of what's called a RFA, or a request for authorization. And so that RFA gets submitted over to the insurance adjuster. And the insurance adjuster doesn't just say yes or no. It'd be nice if they did that, but they don't. The insurance adjuster then says, well, I need somebody else to kind of weigh in on this. And they send that to a process called utilization review, or UR. Now that the process from when your doctor sends it to the insurance adjuster happens pretty fast, and then the insurance adjuster sends it over to their utilization review doctors, which takes a few days there. And then that utilization review doctor will look at that treatment request and decide whether or not they believe that you are entitled to receive that. And so they look through your medical records that are submitted. It's not always submitted with your most recent medical records, which is sometimes a problem. And then sometimes they'll reach out to your PTP, meaning your requesting physician, to see if, to ask further questions or kind of gain a little bit more insight. The problem that we sometimes have there, though, is that we notice that those UR physicians, so those doctors who aren't seeing you, who are just looking at your medical records, when they document that they've tried to call the doctor's offices, it always seems to me like they're trying to call at like crazy times, like they're trying to call before the clinics are open or during lunchtime. So sometimes that's a little weird on their part. And sometimes they'll even say like, hey, this, we weren't able to receive, to talk to this doctor. And the doctor is like, I never got a call from you. So sometimes we don't really know what happens with that process. So anyway, that utilization review doctor will say yes or will say no. And so if that utilization review doctor says yes, this doctor has, according to the guidelines of things that we are allowed to authorize, the doctor has met all of those guidelines, we're going to approve your request for medical treatment, then that approval goes back to the claims adjuster. The claims adjuster notifies your doctor's office that the treatment has been approved. So then, you can get whatever it was that the doctor asked to have for you. That's the same process that gets used for everything. So, whether it's something kind of inexpensive, like a $50 medication, or something super expensive, like a $25,000 surgery, it all goes through that same process. And there's no shortcutting it. That's the process. So sometimes it gets denied. Sometimes that utilization review doctor will deny it. And then if that happens, we have to do an appeal on your process. And that appeals process is what's called independent medical review. So, or IMR, so the IMR process, it's not, we don't go in and advocate on your behalf. It's not like a court hearing or something like that where there's a judge that weighs in. And what happens is additional medical records will be submitted on your behalf to a different doctor. So it's not your treating physician. It's not the review doctor, the UR doctor. It's a totally different doctor that's going to come in and look at things. And this doctor doesn't see you in person. The doctor isn't going to evaluate you in person or anything like that. The doctor is only looking at what was written down in the medical reports, and if those medical records are justifying the criteria for the approval of this the medication or treatment or whatever it was. And our office handles that appeals process for you if you're one of our clients, and so you can always call in and kind of check the status of that. But that's something that our office will do on our client's behalf. If that is approved, then it goes back to the claims adjuster. The claims adjuster will notify the doctor's office that this is being approved. If it gets denied, that's kind of it. The doctors really can't re-request that treatment for up to a year unless certain other criteria are met. The most popular one of those is that there's some sort of change in circumstance. So let's say physical therapy was denied, and then you ended up having to have surgery because the injury was so severe. Well, then physical therapy can be re-requested because there's obviously a really big change in circumstances there. So it's kind of a really weird situation, as that's just how our system works. So used to, under some old laws, I could actually go to court and I could say, hey, judge, my doctor is saying that my client deserves whatever type of medical treatment, and the judge could evaluate your medical records and decide whether or not that you could receive that type of treatment. Can't do that anymore. The laws changed back in 2013, and I can't really take that to a judge to say, hey, my doctor says that my client needs X, Y, and Z treatment, so judge, make them authorize it. The judge will say, Amanda, I feel for you. Like, I really want your clients to have that too, but it has to go through the proper protocol, which is this independent medical review and utilization review. So that's how workers' comp treatment is authorized. And as you can see, that's a very bulky process that happens there. Sometimes our office doesn't really get notified that there's a treatment request up until the treatment is either being approved or denied. So if you're one of our clients and you're seeing this and you have a question as to whether or not something is being authorized or not being authorized, absolutely please call us and keep us in the loop, because we oftentimes don't get sent copies of that until after the fact. And so absolutely let us know if there's any sort of hiccups or there's problems, and we'll help try to facilitate that process as best we can for you. So I hope this helps to explain a little bit about the medical treatment process through the workers' comp system here in California. It's not great. It's very frustrating, and I can understand where people get really over having their workers' comp claim being active. So it's not a fun system, but that's what we're here for. We're here to try to help kind of push those through the system to try to get our clients the treatment that they need. So if you have questions about your specific case, you can absolutely give us a call, and then we'll be able to kind of talk to you about more specifics about your case from there. Thanks so much.